Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another high-level ranked cast. Today, I found at the request from Martin on Discord, we are going to be looking at the #1 Penny player according to Rivals Meta, who also happens to be, according to my research, currently, at the time of recording, it's on the 17th, because I'm recording multiple in one day, because I'm going away this weekend. They are also the top Magneto player, so we have a lot of exciting stuff coming from this one player, and they are up against quite a few very popular players as well from some of the best teams. We've got some players from Magnets, some players from Shroud's team, Shroud X. We have an incredible player ready to bring us some incredibly entertaining games. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're enjoying the video. Consider becoming a member to get these games early. If you had been a member, you would have got this one about 3-4 days early. There are a lot of potential head starts you can get here. But for now, let's head on in to our game. We are heading to Midtown. We'll, of course, be calling our teams Blue Team and Red Team. But, of course, if you want your game to be cast or have a game from your favorite streamer or anything else that you want to cast, if you could find the replay ID or tell me what it is when it happened, I might be able to try and track it down myself. Any help you can give me is a good idea, but the replay ID is the main thing I need to be able to cover these games. But I would love to do some viewer submissions. And reminder, when we hit 5,000 subs, I will be starting to live stream. I'll be streaming lots of viewer submissions over on Twitch and potentially YouTube as well. We are currently sitting at 4,946 subs, 54 away from the streaming limit. So let's get there before Season 2 starts, and I'll be streaming the Season 2 games. So, can you guess who our top Penny player is? That's right, it is Hikari up on the blue team. As we're going to see Adam Warlock and the Human Torch band out. Magneto and Hela by the red team. We've got Cybur from Magnets. We have senorhoff and Fidel, both from top teams as well. And Doomed, who I know is from Shroud X. I don't know every player off by heart which team they're on. Just checking. Fidel is also from Shroud X. I'm tempted to do these as I go. Senorhoff, your name is familiar. Where do I know you from? That is a good question. Not what I am able to answer at this immediate point. So we're going to have to come back to that at another date. For now, though, answers in the comments, please. Let's introduce our players. On the left-hand side, in the blue trunks, it is going to be Nekrobe playing the Loki. Hikari is on the Penny Parker. Loubanger. Gonna be playing the Rocket Raccoon. Wolverine. We're gonna say FK Wolverine. There was no swearing said here. Do not attack me, YouTube algorithm. Nothing happened. They're on the Emma Frost. Isaac is playing the Groot, another top-level player here. Aiki, we've covered them so many times before. They are on the Psylocke here. And on the red team, Doomed! They are playing the Punisher. Fidel is on Lunar Snow. Senorhoff is playing that Rocket Raccoon. Shyva is playing the Groot. Cybur on Emma Frost. And Stel is playing the Storm. Hikari up on the high ground, takes out Rocket in the 2v1. Will finally go down, but returns at the BRB. Does not yet have a bonus mindedness down. Will drop one up on the high ground. Taken out quite quickly. Self-destroyed. Not happy with the positioning. This does mean they're taking a lot of damage without getting any healing. They need to drop a web underneath them. Going to do so by retreating here as they realize how far up that card is pushing. Found senorhoff apparently on the flank as in comes Stel with that Omega Hurricane into the backline to try and clean out the blue team here. Try to remove the defenders, will get FK Wolverine. Here comes the Seer to try and delay this. FK Wolverine with the Psionic Seduction to try and zone them away. Great amount of damage is enough to set up and finish off Stel, but Stel returns at the BRB, and Hikari is able to take out Fidel. Will go down, and there's no BRB this time as the Dance of the Butterfly tries to clean out the remainder of the attackers, but blue team are holding for the moment. But how long will they be able to hold through this final judgment? Down goes FK Wolverine, and Doomed has no one left to hit here. Everyone has taken cover. That ultimate will expire. Getting absolutely flipped, kicked into the wall, taken out as FK Wolverine sets that up nicely. Enquiries setting up. There comes the Seer, doing a fair amount of damage through the point here, setting up the mines, locking down, and dropping the mines, not under Groot, but behind them so that they get picked off as they retreat with the finishing blow onto Shyva, onto the high ground immediately. No mercy, no hesitation, just jumping up and trying to keep control of the points they need. Setting up the web, using their stun so that they don't get pulled into a dangerous position where they might get caught by the Wolverine. Hook into the backline so they get out of danger as in comes the Omega Hurricane looking for Penni and Loki, eating some damage, takes out the Bionic Spider Nest and taken out, punished by diving deep into that. Lovely Groot wall, bit of a miss. Actually, no, that was their own team. Cybur accidentally blocking them out a bit here as Loubanger going to be setting up the Seer to protect the team. Straggling Prison, redeeming themselves as in comes the lockdown. Not enough damage to finish them off though as Enquiries has positioning, has that overhealth. Trying to get onto the backline, trying to lock down Storm. If you can stun him out the air, you've got a great position here. Utilizing the fact that they're a ranged tank to chase them in. Here comes Spider Time, immediately into their Bionic Spider Nest to try and spread that field, but not enough. They get picked off. Fidel with the extra fade of both worlds for the protection. Senorhoff does have their own as well. Once it expires, then Shyva picks up the double elimination. And red team continuing to push on in. Isaac chased down, walled off, and picked off.
You know what to do, spiders?
Enquiries once again setting up the defensive position. FK Wolverine has access to that psionic seduction. Isaac with the strangling prison. Shyva with their own. Doomed with the last stand for the ability to try and dive into the backline, set up their team, and see if they can get a quick blow-up. FK Wolverine using that Mind's Aegis for a little bit of protection, dueling out with Cybur, will be forced to back away. Mostly American players in this lobby.
You know what to do, spiders?
Enquiries setting up the mines inside the web so they can't be interrupted. Good lockdown so they can focus onto Groot, taking them out. The damage hammer is good. Now locking down Doomed on that Wolverine to try and pick him up. Senorhoff with the clone into the fate of both worlds to keep their team topped up through this big psionic seduction coming in from FK Wolverine. Aiki into the backline with Dance of the Butterfly, finds Fidel and will be able to take down Loki on the chase. Cybur trying to hold, but there's nothing left for them here as they are cleaned out. Beautiful stun with the Cyber Web Snare as Enquiries once again is going to set up zoning position here. The Groot Wall shutting down a couple of those mines. Frozen, but will be healed up nice and easily. Another great stun, finding Groot almost on cooldown here. The hitbox so big. This time blocked off though. Once again, Omega Hurricane coming in. Regeneration Domain will buy the time with the help of the Seer, but the Seer Beacon is taken out nice and quickly here. They've lost a big chunk of their defensive capabilities here. Enquiries moving into the Spider Time so they can try and hold the line. Final stand comes out, but isn't enough to lock down the Penni. CCing, trying to buy time for their group, but Isaac will fall. And it looks like Enquiries is a little outnumbered here. They've got FK Wolverine. They get the Groot. They lock down Cybur. They're pushing on back in. And they are holding the line right now. More mines to focus down Doomed, who dives on in. The lockdown is good. Trusting their team, not staying just in their webs here. Dancing in and out. Positioning more important than staying in the webs on this Penni. Mind's Aegis goes down. Trust the healers. Psionic Seduction into the backline to try and lock them in. Cybur flipping Isaac, who's into the backline and is absolutely destroyed here. Another good lockdown. But the chase, Doomed, walking through all of the mines. Here comes the counter Psionic Seduction. Enquiries trying to stun the backline members. Isaac returns because they were at the BRB. Big dive from Enquiries onto the point. Dance on the butterfly to clean out the attackers as overtime ticks down. Doom just swaps to Strange, but he's not going to make it in time. Overtime ticks down, and that's going to be a hold at 1 point. At 128 meters for the blue team. Now, can they push further? It's interesting seeing the positioning of how these pennies differ from the ones I at least personally play with and how I play myself. I need to adjust a little bit, it seems. Trusting their healers a little bit more here. Playing out of their web as often as they're playing in it. Trying to drag people in, force them into the web side to avoid getting shot at. You can see 8 final hits, currently 16 eliminations top in the lobby. Top damage, 15k though, going to be over to Stel. Solo damage on their team, it is working out. Top damage blocked, 26k, going to be over to Isaac and Shyva on 27k, both of the Groots topping the tanking numbers. Top healing, currently 20k for Fidel, doing huge work here. Estelle off of the storm right now is moving on to the invisible woman as Doomed will be picking up on the damage. Now we got Penni on the attack here. Shyva walling above the exit here. This is going to mean that we're going to have a quick pause. You can see Shiva's not really here to brawl here. This wall will just buy time, sets up the Iron Root wall off to the side so they can get that extra overhealth. And to block off the entrance to the high ground, at least by a little bit of time. Spore Bomb to try and zone them out. Enquiries is already in the backline. They have dove here, and this is the reason they're now harassing from behind. But they've also set up a complete zone on all reinforcements that we could see for the red team. Beautiful lockdown onto Doom. Psionic Stel forced to dash away, chasing them down, picks them off with the mines that they set up earlier. In the backline, nothing that can stop them there. Down goes Shyva, and the positioning, the deep dive for the Penni. She's extra mobile with that extra dash, the web pull. And the cyber web snare blocked this time by the Mind's Aegis, but they've been dropping so many to lock down multiple members of the red team. Hitting a low-key clone that time because senorhoff had already fallen. Cybur locked down. Bionic Spider Nest sent onto the point, dealing with the Psylocke in the backline with the clone from the team up with the Emma Frost. As Enquiries will back up into safety. Focusing onto Shyva, who has swapped onto Mr. Fantastic here. Solo tanking right now. Cybur left alone here. That Mr. Fantastic, though, does act almost as a second tag, but almost is the key word here. FK Wolverine with the psionic seduction onto Fidel, focusing them down. Not enough to finish the job, though. They are now getting a little isolated here. Takes out the clone. The clone swap came in. Shyva now on the Iron Fist. As Enquiries is once again forward deep into their opponent's backline, right at that finish line, and is setting up for a defensive position. Mines already on the point, but Spider Nest up, so they're over-shielded already in here. And to try and prevent people from wrapping around behind them, Wolverine stunned out, locked in. The mines pop off, taking out Shyva, who tried to dive in on that Iron Fist. The card is creeping in. Got a great position set up here. Winter Soldier coming in, great choice. If you can't deal with this Penni, then you bring it to you. Try and punish it that way, but that cart is cruising in. Spider time to try and zone almost as much as anything else. Set up mines on that finish line, making it a toxic place to defend. Immediately to the back line, though, priority is defense. Senorhoff falls, taken down by Isaac. And numbers already looking pretty heavily in favor of the blue team. The lockdown is good, shutting down Shyva. Cybur trying to absorb. They've used that cyber web snare to try and hold that line, getting pulled on in. Forced to pull away, pulled in by the nice force push by Stel, shutting it down here as Kraken impact from Doomed is completely deleting the blue team. And red team back in this game. Portal comes in for the reinforcements. Cyberweb snare blocking the tainted shock there. Looking for the hook onto Hikari. Not in range. Straggling prison. Comes in, locks down two, but one of them was the Loki closer, not enough for the finishing blow. Shyva trying to get in here, into the backline. Living weapon, percentage damage versus attack. Very effective, but they're now in the spider. Stunned out, locked down, CC'd to absolute oblivion here. Trying to retreat, they're chased on down. The kick from FK Wolverine, the cyberweb snare from Hikari, who's once again in the backline to zone away reinforcements to get behind Cyber, stop them being so far up on the point as the cart moves on in. Looking for anyone on the flank, anyone who could stop them right now. The cart is being held. Doom stunned out, wiped out, and the hyper-aggression Hikari showing us just how to play this Penny Parker. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the #1 currently, according to Rivals Meta, #1 Penny Parker and #1 Magneto player. MVP, well deserved. Let's have a look at some of these statistics. Top eliminations, 29, 4 more than Aiki, 5 more than FK Wolverine, and 9 more than Doomed. Top final hits, a 3-way tie between Hikari, FK Wolverine, and Aiki. Top damage will go over to Cybur. We do know that Emma Frost really stacks up damage over time. 22k, that's going to be a solid 4k more. An entire Loubanger more than Hikari here. We're getting taken out 2 extra times. Least amount of times getting eliminated is Loubanger, followed by Nekrobe, followed by Hikari. 0, 3, and 4. Top damage blocked, again, not really playing this Penny like a real, beefy tank to absorb damage. It's more about just making the ground as hard to enter as possible, sending shots down range and being in the backline, causing harassment, stunning people out. Only 26k damage blocked, 41k will be the top number. That is going over to Isaac, who was doing some insane tanking for their team as well there. And top healing. Going to be 31k for Fidel. Keeping their team topped up as long as they could. And it working out very well in their favor. They healed as much damage as FK Wolverine took, and almost as much as Cybur took. So basically, he kept Emma Frost up even longer than they might have otherwise. But that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for today's game. We've now seen a top Emma Frost player. We've seen a top Black Widow player. We've seen a top Penny Parker player. Be sure to leave your request for if you want to see the top player according to Rivals Meta. I'll try and find a replay of them. Or again, if there's just any players you want to see, any particular games, any characters you think would be cool. I'm just looking for cool games, or just games you've seen that you think are cool. Send them to me. For now, though, I have been your caster Tetcher. Reminder to like, comment, and subscribe. Watch these videos without ad block on or with YouTube Premium if you have that to help support. Or become a member like our wonderful supporters of the channel who help keep the lights on. Big shout out to our members Roshula, Doki Poki, and John, who help keep this channel going. I do this because I love it, but the more support I get, the more videos I can keep making and the longer I can keep doing these, because in case you all haven't noticed, life is really expensive. And I am an independent guy who's not getting paid by, Rivals. I don't have a sponsor, although email's in the description below if anyone wants to change that. But I don't have sponsors. I don't get paid by netties. I do this because I love it. And I want to keep doing it because I love it. But in order to do that, sometimes you do need to be able to afford groceries and to eat. So that is appreciated, although I could definitely do with eating a little less. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've all enjoyed today's game. I have been Tetcher. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.